What is going on, guys? My name is Taylor Stuber, and I'm here to break down this 6-game preseason NBA slate on Sunday, December 13th. 6 games, that is, if you're playing on DraftKings or PrizePicks or something like that. If you're playing on FanDuel, it is only 4 games, and that starts at 6 p.m. Central Time. As always, guys, if you guys haven't already subscribed, liked, that would be much appreciated. Really helps out my algorithm. And make sure to throw a comment below with your favorite play of the day. I'm going to start doing these giveaways again. So if you like the video, subscribe, and then comment with your favorite play of the day, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $25 via PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, whatever it may be. I'm going to start doing these giveaways every single Sunday. So you have 7 chances to put your name in the drawing, and hopefully you'll be the victor come Sunday. And speaking of victors, we were just absolutely crushing the slate yesterday. There was some really interesting ownership percentages, but I'm not all that surprised with it being preseason. We got Bobby Portis at 5%. I touted him very hard in this video and on the live stream right before. I don't understand how he was that in single digit ownership. He was going to be in the rotation in the first half, backing up both Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then he ended up closing the game as well. So big shout out to Bobby Portis for coming through. We're going to continue the winning ways today. Make sure to join the Discord below to get all that news that I give out every single day throughout the day. Like whenever news comes out, I do this full time. So whenever news comes out, I'm dropping that into the Discord. I'm tweeting it. So the links are in the description if you guys want to join. It's all free. And then of course, an hour before the stream starts, or before lock starts, I will be streaming over on Twitch. Link is also in the description, or it's up here in one of these alert boxes. So make sure to follow me over there. But let's just jump right into the slate. Got a lot of things to go over. So we will just start off with the Orlando Magic. We already saw them against the same Atlanta Hawks team. So we're going to see something similar. I would expect the minutes to increase a bit, or if anything, they're going to continue to just play into the third quarter and play mid-20s minutes like they did. And that's more than enough for these Orlando Magic guys. Aaron Gordon was limited last time. We don't know if he will continue to be limited. But that's definitely something to monitor. Terrence Ross, Isaac, Aminu, Ennis, and Baba are obviously all still out. Vucevic had a 23.3% usage rating, averaging 1.61 fantasy points per minute in 25 minutes last game, and the price came down to 7.4K. He's going to be very, very popular today, and this is another day where there's just so many centers I want to play, and I'm going to be taking advantage of it. And if you guys are playing PrizePicks, his prop is really low at 26. I think he's an absolute smash on the over. And if you guys use code Taylor, you get 100% match bonus. So if you put in $50, you're gonna get $100 to play with, and I'll even give you 2 free plays right here, right now. I like the over on Vucevic and RJ Barrett at 22 points. So if you take the over on them, power play them, you can turn $20 into $60. You can 3x your money. So or if you put in 50, receive an extra 50, that's $100. And you can turn that into 300 really quick if those things hit, but I feel really confident in them. But with this Orlando Magic team, I do like Nikola Vucevic. I think he's one of the best plays on the slate, given how involved he is on this offense. Aaron Gordon at 6.6K, if he was given a full go and playing into the third quarter like the rest of these Orlando Magic guys against a fast-paced Atlanta team who is all offense, no defense, he would be one of the better plays. He had a pretty good usage rating. His assist percentage was incredibly high. The offense seemingly ran through him, but that might have been just because he was limited. And then Markelle Fultz at 5.1K, I think, is an interesting play. Again, he's really the only point guard on this team that's going to get extended or very much run in the regular season. Michael Carter-Williams will obviously see some, but not nearly as much as DJ Augustin was taking up last year. Moving over to the other side of the court with the Atlanta Hawks, the starters played anywhere from 20 to 26 minutes. Capella only played 20 minutes. You see a lot of Q tags here, but they're all probable. I'm pretty sure all these guys are going to play, but definitely something to monitor. But with it being the first game of the slate, it's not that big of a deal. But the backcourt is still thin. Rondo, Dunn, and Snell are all going to remain out. I think Rondo's doubtful, but he's not going to play. And then Dunn, he's probably going to miss the beginning of the regular season. Capella was an absolute monster on the boards. I wish he would have gotten more than 20 minutes, but hey, it's the second game. He might get more. Did really well in those 20 minutes. He's only 5,300, but there's so many centers, it's going to be hard to get to him. Now, Trey Young disappointed a lot of you, and myself included. He was one of my favorite plays on the slate, and I stand by it. I mean, he had a 29.9% usage rating, a 54.5 assist percentage, but only averaged 8 fantasy points per minute. Now, the usage and assist percentage should stand, but 0.8 fantasy points per minute is quite the anomaly for Trey Young. So if he continues to have that usage and assist percentage at 8.2K and he's playing mid-20s minutes, and maybe even more, with it being the second preseason game, he's an absolute smash play. And it's hard for me to get away from him. And if his ownership is going to be any lower because of recency bias in that last game, I'm going to be all over it. So don't be afraid to go back to Trey Young. Cam Reddish led the team with a 31.1% usage rate, averaging 1.3 fantasy points per minute off the bench. Only 4.6K. I do like him quite a bit. Bogdanovich, I think he scored about 20 fantasy points. So definitely room for more in that price at 4.7K. I like him as well. Go over to the Washington Wizards. So this is one of the teams we haven't seen. We haven't seen either of these teams in this game, them or the Brooklyn Nets. Last year, the guys played pretty into the second half, but we're going to be without Westbrook, Beal, Bertans, Ish Smith, and Jerome Robinson. And Thomas Bryant is questionable, which is something to monitor. Now, these are some of my favorite plays on the slate. They are really, really thin. Troy Brown should be the man tonight. I'm telling you, 1.15 fantasy points per minute last year with no Beal, Isaiah Thomas, and Ish Smith. Obviously, all those guys are either off the team or not playing tonight. He's only 21 years old. It says he's shooting guard, small forward eligible, but he's going to be handling the ball like no other. His usage and assist percentage is really high when those guys are off the court, and he should be just facilitating the entire offense. And I would not be surprised if he played 23, 24, 25 minutes against this Brooklyn Nets team. And so I love Troy Brown tonight at 5.8K, one of my favorite plays of the slate. And I feel like it's a guy that's just going to go overlooked and will not have as much ownership as he should. Another guy in this game that I think is an absolute smash play, and again, it's a center, it's Moritz Wagner. So if Thomas Bryant plays or if he doesn't play, Wagner is still a great play. But if Bryant is out, I'm fully expecting Robin Lopez to grab the start, but he is a veteran. They really overpaid him on a 1-year deal. It was pretty incredible. But Lopez being a vet like that, he's not going to play much. I would assume that he starts and just plays 12, 14 minutes at most in the first half, doesn't play second half. Wagner will be the direct backup and will play the majority of the second half, and we know how good he is on a per minute basis. I absolutely love Moritz Wagner, and if you've played Summer League before or if you've played preseason in years past, we know how good he is when given the opportunity, and he's minimum price. So be on the watch out for Moritz Wagner. Shabazz Napier is not too bad of a play either. Actually, I gotta check on that. I'll get back to you later with Shabazz Napier because I didn't see him on the depth chart. That was kind of weird that I just saw him. And then we know Denny, the rookie, is Scott Brooks already said he's going to probably play 20-ish minutes. So that's something to look out for at 4.9K. It's not the best play, but we do know that he's an offensive-minded guy. So he could get it done in about 20 minutes, but it's just something to note. With the Brooklyn Nets, Karis LeVert, we got the starting lineup actually yesterday, which is funny. Karis LeVert has already been ruled out. Spencer Dinwiddie is going to start in place of him. We don't really have, this is pretty much a whole brand new team with Durant, and then Steve Nash is the new coach. So we don't have anything to go off of last year. The Nets minutes are really to be determined. So it's something to monitor, and I'm not really going to play many of these guys until we get more clarity. One guy I wanted to know is Bruce Brown's probably going to be one of the first guys off the bench at 5.2K. Again, another guy in the preseason who gets it done and is going to have a high usage percentage. He should be in the rotation in the first half and could possibly close the game as well, as they just traded for him to see what they have in him. I think he's a decent player. The New York Knicks, I mean, these guys were a nightmare for me last time. I played a couple of them, but I was not expecting this. We saw that Thibodeau said that they were going to play them, not to expect full regular season minutes, but to expect 7-minute stints. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, there's a chance that they play like 2 7-minute stints in the first half, and they only play 14 minutes. So I don't want to be very high on them. And then I was like, well, or they could play 3 7-minute stints, and that's only 21 minutes. So in that case, they would just be average with all the other teams on that slate. But they ended up playing 4. They closed the game with their starting lineup. So if we know we're going to get about 30 minutes from these guys and maybe more in this game, you have to play a lot of these New York Knicks, especially at their prices. They brought a lot of them down. Julius Randle's only 6.5K. You just play him. You don't think twice about it. He is center, but obviously he has power forward eligibility, which is awesome. You have to play Julius Randle, in my opinion. The offense just really runs through him. An insane assist percentage for his position, and I like him at 6.5K. But RJ Barrett led the team in minutes with 29, usage at 27%, and he shot 16 times. He just shot really, really poorly, but he's only 5,000, which is one of the reasons why I picked the over on Prize Picks. I think that there was a lot of room for more fantasy points. We know when he's out there, he's going to chuck. Obviously, he's not the best shooter, but if you're shooting that many times at $5,000 and at that many minutes in a preseason game, I'm more than interested in playing him on all sites, really. And then Nerlens Noel and Robinson split all but 48 of the center minutes. So Nerlens Noel at 4.7K is definitely enticing. He played a couple more minutes. Then Mitchell Robinson. I think Julius Randle played center for, I think, 1 minute. They messed up the rotation. But both those guys are definitely interesting. And then Obi Toppin is who I had a ton of last game. He was an absolute beast off the bench, and I expected nothing less. When he's out there, he's hyper aggressive. But I don't know if he's going to get nearly as many minutes as these other Knicks players. But these guys are especially in the starting lineup, are guys that you want to be targeting tonight in your lineups. On the opposite end, it's the Detroit Pistons, and it's really something I'm not all that interested in outside of Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin played 22 minutes, and I think he's pretty much a must play at 5.2K. Don't understand that pricing, because I think that there's an opportunity for him to play a bit more. If he gets into that 24-26 minute range, I absolutely love him. But the ball ran through Griffin. He had a 20.8% usage rating, a 50% assist percentage, averaging 1.26 fantasy points per minute. Looking really good off of that injury. And then one other guy to know is Jeremy Grant. He shot 1 for 11, so he's like a career 40% field goal percentage shooter. So I don't expect him to shoot 1 for 11 again. And so if he's shooting that many times, maybe he shoots 12, 13 times this time if his minutes are increased, and he knocks down 6 or 7 of those shots, he's going to more than pay off that 4.9K price tag, and he's at a weak position at small forward. Move over to the Houston Rockets, one of these teams that surprised a lot of people, and it was fun to watch John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. They put absolutely insane numbers up. Harden, Tucker, and Wood are all out this game. The minutes were very spread out. Starters didn't play the second half. John Wall had a 30.6% usage rating. Cousins had a 27.8% usage rating. Eric Gordon had a 26.3% usage rating. Like I said, those guys are going to demand the ball, and they're really around a bunch of inept offensive basketball players. So if we get word that they're going to play into the second half, all of these guys are amazing plays, because they were playing in limited action and absolutely went off. I mean, John Wall averaged 2.01 fantasy points per minute. DeMarcus Cousins averaged 2.05 fantasy points per minute. I love these guys if we know that they're going to get more minutes. And then a guy that is going to be really popular, I assume, is going to be Bruno Caboclo. He didn't get the start, but he was like the first guy off the bench for Tate. And I was on him a bit. I had some of him on FanDuel since small forward was so weak. But the thing with him is he played the most minutes in the game. I think he played 26 minutes for the Houston Rockets. He just shot super, super well. I think he was 5 for 8 from three-pointer. I would limit your expectations for him this game because I wouldn't expect that same kind of efficiency. And at 5.2K, at a strong power forward position where we're going to play guys like Blake Griffin, like Julius Randle, I'm going to be severely underweight on him. I still think he's a good play, but I'm not nearly as good as the other guys. Like, he's at the same position as Blake Griffin at the same exact price. I'll play Blake Griffin over him every single time. And if people are playing Bruno because of recency bias, that's where I'm going to take advantage and gain an edge. Just wouldn't expect that efficiency again. Move over to the Chicago Bulls. The starters played mid-20s minutes. Otto Porter and Wendell Carter Jr. were limited to just the first half. They both played pretty well in that first half. I think, how many three-point shots that Wendell Carter Jr. shoot? Because he's really trying to implement that into his game. It's not here. I think he shot 6 or 7 three-pointers, which is really promising to see, because if he can start hitting those, his fantasy value is going to skyrocket, especially at 4.9K. But Kobe White led the team in usage and assist percentage as the new starting point guard. We saw at the end of last year, he took that starting spot away from Tomas Satoransky. Excuse me. He was by far the most efficient player on this team from the Chicago Bulls. 7.2K. I think he's one of the better plays on the slate. And then Patrick Williams, I think, will be in the rotation again in the first half and then should close again at 5.4K. The lottery pick rookie. So at 5.4K, I think he's a pretty solid play, again, at a weak small forward position. Go to the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, dude, they used 18 players in the opener. 18. It's insane. If they're playing 18 players, I'm not very interested. The starters only played the first half, and it makes sense. I mean, it's Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Why play them in the second half, especially against the Lakers team who didn't have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, we don't know if they're going to play today. This is one of the biggest news we're going to have to monitor for both of these teams. So if the starters are only playing the first half, I'm not going to play any of them. The only guy I'm really interested in is going to be Ivica Zubac, who we were on last time. He did really well in the limited time that he got. He's going to back up Serge Ibaka, but he started the second half and played pretty deep into the second half as well. So at 4.9K, he's a pretty decent pivot from one of these strong center plays. Go over to the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, we're going to have to monitor the injury news like very heavily. We were without LeBron, AD, Gasol, Markieff Morris, KCP. And I guess Alex Caruso is out now. We're really going to have to monitor this. There was only a 9-man rotation last time. If I knew there was a 9-man rotation like before the slate started, I would have played all these guys, but I only got to a couple of them who did well regardless. But the minutes were wild. Kyle Kuzma, 38 minutes. Montrezl Harrell, 31. Schroeder, 24. Talon Horton-Tucker played 37 minutes. So if we get the same exact team with all these guys resting, the Lakers are coming off the shortest offseason of all time, so there's no surprise that they're resting their guys right now. Montrezl Harrell, I'm going to go back to the well with. I'm so happy that he has forward eligibility. Dennis Schroeder at 7.5K. They rose his price. He played poorly last game. Very, very poorly. But I will say that he led the team in usage and assist percentage. I think he's due for a bounce back at 7.5K. I think he's a great GPP play. Maybe not in cash games. In cash games, I would much rather go down to Talon Horton-Tucker, who I know is going to be active when he's out there and could possibly play mid to high 30s minutes again, as well as Kyle Kuzma, who's 6.1K. I like both those guys quite a bit if we get news that Anthony Davis, LeBron, and all these other guys are out like they were last game. Definitely something to monitor, but of course, I will be letting you guys know what's going on in the Discord and over on Twitter, so make sure to follow me and join that Discord. The Sacramento Kings last game of the slate, Whiteside and Bagley are going to be out again, so we should see a lot of Rashawn Holmes. The young starters outside of Bielitsa, who's not a young guy, started and played mid to high 20s in minutes. Even guys like De'Aaron Fox at 7.9K. I'm going to be targeting this game It's all offense, no defense. All these guys are just all out. I mean, both teams were really efficient last game. That's another reason why. But the defense was really, really poor. I think that Rashawn Holmes is a bit too cheap. But guys like Buddy Hield, Darren Fox, Harrison Barnes to an extent are definitely very, very playable. I think there's an opportunity for them to play 30 minutes this game. We saw the Sacramento Kings last year play into the 30 minutes with their starters. So I do like the Kings quite a bit today. And then last team of the night, the Portland Trailblazers. Nurkic, Hood, and Collins all remain out. So two of the guys in the front court are out again. So expect Enes Kanter to grab the start. And expect Harry Giles in another revenge game to come off the bench for Enes Kanter and possibly close again. We saw that they split all 48 of those center minutes, so that's something you really want to have a piece of, whether it be Kanter or Giles. I think both of them are amazing plays. Maybe Giles more so just because the competition he will be up against is going to be a lot poorer than Enes Kanter, but both of them are very, very great plays. And one of the things to note, if you guys were watching it or if you went and looked at the game flows of this game, was that, and to start the second half, CJ McCollum was starting, obviously, but Damian Lillard was not. And so I thought Lillard was done, but Lillard ended up coming in for CJ McCollum at the end of the third quarter. So they were trying. So years past, why Lillard and McCollum were so good was because they were staggering their minutes. So it looks like they're experimenting with that again. So if they are staggering the minutes, that means that they are going to be the main ball handler whenever they're out there on the court. So that's a big boost to both CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. Now Lillard at times will disappear like he did last game. He didn't really have a high usage rating. I believe it was like 15%, just because he'll just toss the ball around. And it's a preseason game. It doesn't really matter all that much. But CJ McCollum, on the other hand, only played 20 minutes. But he had a 42.6% usage rating, which is crazy. And a lot of that had to do because in the second half, he was playing without Damian Lillard. And if they're going to continue to stagger the minutes like that, he would be an absolute smash play. But again, guys, I will be live streaming an hour before lock over on twitch.tv/Taylor Stuber. Links are all in the description. If you guys could help me out by following me over there, that would be greatly appreciated. I hope you guys do well today. Let's continue to crush it. I'll be in the Discord all day. Feel free to ask me some questions over there. Completely free. And until next time, peace.